This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Well, we have to catch up with our docker, Jordan Clark, who had an absolute belter yesterday.
Another one.
Took the words right out of my mouth, Shaun.
Yeah.
Joel, you're all over this, no doubt about it, when you watched Jordan kick his first goal for the season yesterday, Joel.
So proud, Jordan. I'm glad all those, one-on-one Zoom coaching lessons we've been doing have paid off.
And then, as instructed, he threw up the Nova N as part of his goal celebration. Jordan Clark, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, guys. How are we?
I tell you what, we're up and about around the studio after
You would have
kicked that
thought
goal.
that Ross had kicked the goal the way he got that excited.
I was excited when you kicked that goal. When you did the end, we were ecstatic. You absolute bloody legend.
No worries at all. I told you I would do it, so stay true to my word.
Yeah, stayed true to your word. Now, you light up for the first one in the first quarter. Were you thinking, if this goes through, this is a celebration, it needs to happen? And did that play a part in your mind?
Yeah, absolutely, it did. I sort of tried to put the first goal through screen height behind the goals. That's how hard I tried to kick it.
Yes.
So, I thought I'd actually blown a good chance, actually. And, thankfully enough, I put a bit of mayo on a little bit of a shove in the back.
I didn't want to say. A little bit floppy, but...
So proud of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
We love a good flop when it's right.
I just had a look. Did you win, Jordan?
Yeah, oh,
Joel.
I know. I'm not. I'm
Six
leaving
in
the
a row,
sports to
Joel.
Shaun. Yeah, I'm looking 81 to 69. Hello. Congratulations, chookers, etc. You must have rehearsed really hard for this one then.
Rehearsed.
Yeah, no, it took plenty of work up on stage behind the curtain.
Behind the curtain. Love it in my language.
So when you did get that 50-metre penalty, the whole time that you're running the 50 metres, were you thinking, I've got to get the
Second
end.
time.
This is it. This is my moment.
Yeah, I caught myself sort of, going through a few thoughts, going, the crowd's going to get up and about here. I'm going to put this through. And I started getting a bit ahead of myself. So I stripped it right back and sort of switched myself on and said, no, just focus on your run up, your ball drop, and the rest will take care of itself. So, no, actually, I did get a little bit bored in my thinking, and I think that's what cost me.
What was have you told people were asking.
Yes.
I was able to tell everybody what it was
Yes.
for on 7 on the call yesterday.
But on the Fox coverage, Will Schofield thought it was an S.
Oh, well.
S for Starlight was his thinking.
Oh, right, that's not a bad sort of...
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, we can run with that too if we want. But no, it was definitely an N for Nova.
Company man.
There was heaps of people sort of asking about it.
Yeah, great.
Buddy Jordan, you're on fire at the moment.
Oh, such a game.
31 disposals too while we're at it. Nice work.
Oh, no, it's in the right spot at the right time sometimes, and it can get kicked down your throat. But no, I'm more happy the team's going well, and we've strung a few wins together and got ourselves back in the season.
No, you were fantastic yesterday.
I'm back in Freo then this season.
Yeah.
Oh, you're jumping on board now, are you, bandwagon boy?
I am, yes. I always go for a winner. And Jordan, you sound like you're going to take the trophy, the cup, the plate. Someone help me. Shaun, help me.
You're on your own.
The cup. We'll go with the cup.
What about the flag?
The flag.
Yes.
Just seeing if you're awake.
Joel, your parents, I think they're Freo supporters, aren't they? I always see your dad at events. So
they are mad Freo supporters.
Yeah.
And when Freo win the grand final a few years ago, they came to stay with me in Melbourne.
when they were in it, yeah.
When they were in it, and they came home to me. They were staying with me, and they all slammed doors and were crying. Jordan, are you aware that you have this power over people? My parents were in tears.
No, I'm sort of not really aware of that at times. But,
Okay, no pressure.
I do know that the fans do ride
Feel
the
it.
waves with us and somewhat can be quite bad losers at times. So, quite often the players are on the receiving end of a few fan sprays, which is fine. But no, it's all a part of footy, I suppose.
Absolutely.
Winners are grinners.
Well, we were certainly proud of you yesterday, mate. The end was up there.
Yep.
You kicked the
Yeah.
goal. You
Legend.
dominated the game yourself.
We also did check that it wasn't a gang sign, and we think we don't think you'll
you're
be
in the
cancelled
clear.
for it. So that's good.
Yeah, well, if it was a gang sign, you guys are fighting for me.
Oh, we're tough.
Yeah, we've got you back. Don't worry. We'll catch up later in the week, Geordie. Thanks,
Thanks,
mate.
George. Appreciate your time.
No worries, guys.
I'll see you at
Take care.
training later, Jordan.
It's got a few tips for you.
Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Righto, we're going to concentrate on the Fremantle Dockers just in a second, their victory yesterday, but the West Coast Fever, 10 in a row, Natalie.
Top of the ladder, outright now. Outright because the Swifts got done yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Taking care of the Sunshine Coast Lightning. The West Coast Eagles put up a good performance at Marvel Stadium.
They did all
against
right,
Collingwood.
didn't they? I mean, a penny for Collingwood's thoughts because, pray for them. They had to travel. This was an away game for
did.
them because they had to go all the way to
news.
Marvel Stadium.
Certainly was.
So the travel really took its toll on them, obviously. But, the Eagles did all right. They took it up to them.
Yeah, they did. LeBron James. Green shoots, love it. LeBron James has declared he will play his 23rd season in the NBA this year coming up.
65? What is he?
Wow.
He is 40.
in his 40s.
I'm going to say 42 this year.
Amazing.
$53 million to play, and so he should be. Should be the highest paid player in the league, in my
I'd do it for
opinion.
that.
Australia won the first test against the West Indies, and all week last week we were bagging the top order by I say me in particular.
I mean, you and the rest of the country, you weren't the lone voice on this. Like, they had been woeful, but the fact that the bowlers, Josh Hazelwood in particular, managed to bowl over the West Indies, and
He
we
certainly
won.
did, took a fifer.
We won comfortably. It didn't look like we were going to win comfortably.
No, the one
Friday.
thing to come out of that match was that whoever was doing the third umpire duties was absolutely terrible, and both teams had areas to complain over. And you've got a replay system where you're seeing it, and you've got all the sophistication, technology in the world, and you're still calling decisions that made no sense. Terrible. That guy needs to be sacked. Righto, let's go over to the football now. And yesterday it was a big win by the Fremantle Dockers. And I know a lot of people would suggest that, they're playing St Kilda and they're down the bottom. But sometimes teams match up well against each other. And particularly when you've got Ross the boss coaching one end, he knows what to do. And can he get his players
And they
up?
pantsed you last time. It was an embarrassing defeat last time.
Massively, Nat. Absolutely. 61 points, actually, in that game. But he knows what buttons to push to get a team up at the right time. He just does. He just does. But the big news for us was our mate Jordan Clark, who we've pitched to over the last couple of weeks, that if he was able to score and hit the scoreboard with a goal, that he would come up with a Nova sign.
Yes, that's right. An N, or as one of my mates described it, looks like he's doing Incy Wincy Spider, and it does, to be fair. And we did have to run it through AI to see if it was a gang sign anywhere, just so he doesn't get cancelled. We think we're okay.
Yeah.
So early in the first quarter, he was able to have a shot from around 50 metres, just laid back on that one, drifted to the right-hand side. I was like, this could have been the moment. But no one around the stadium knew what was going to happen once
all
he
of our
scored a goal.
valued listeners did,
They
surely.
certainly did.
Yeah, my dad knew. He called me as soon as it happened. But it was a free. He got 50-metre free.
Yes.
And then this is the goal.
Mark had a chance from longer range earlier in the game. This one is straight through the middle.
Now, no explanation by those commentators about what's going on, but if you had it flicked over to Channel 7, our Shawnee Mac said this.
And that is the Nova sign, the big N there, Ryan.
Oh, you'd like that?
We put him up to that during the week and he's come good with a goal.
Is that right?
That's
Jordan
correct.
Clark. And once again, I was at home watching it, and this is the goal was great, but my reaction to when I saw the end.
Yeah! He did it! He did it!
No, it's more than a goal.
Oh, what a
The
moment.
N sign.
And then my dad called me and said he could get in trouble for commercial. I was like, don't ruin it. Don't ruin it.
We didn't pay him, so
Yeah, I
it's
know.
fine.
No,
it's fine. Will Schofield thought it might have been an S on that. This is on the KO coverage, so Fox coverage. He thought it might have been an S, and I just corrected him on Instagram, and he got back to me and said, that's not an N. And it's a Starlight game, so I reckon take the L there is what he said to me. And I went, no, we put him up to it.
Absolutely,
Here's a
Will.
picture of him practicing it.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly that.
I had receipts.
Yeah, well done. Well done to Jordan Clark. That made it.
Good on you, Clarky.
By the way, another best on ground. I think it's 3 weeks in a row where he's had 30 possessions. And we mentioned the All-Australian. I think you threw that up to him last time he was in
I
that.
wasn't the one saying it, but there were other pundits have been saying he's got to be in the running for All-Australian. He's got to be at this stage. He's absolutely killing it.
Yeah, so Justin Longmuir said, well, at this stage of the year, last year, he was in the squad. Like, there was a 40-man squad released. He said he's playing better than he did last year. And he was definitely the best on ground. So well done to Jordan. Can't wait. Hopefully we catch up with him later this morning.
Just quickly, check out the Nathan and Shaun Instagram socials. You will see him doing the sign.
If you
on the
don't, if
story.
you can't imagine what it might look like.
It's Incy Wincy Spider, but it's cool
And
to
he
see.
kind of did do it backwards, but
Don't ruin it.
Yeah.
Depends where you were sitting.
Yes,
exactly. From his point of view, it was an N.
Yeah, we're all up and
If
about.
you're behind him, definitely an N.
And finally, I just want to mention there was a couple of things during the game. Now, Liam Henry, who was a top 10 draft pick for the Fremantle Dockers a couple of seasons ago, he left to join St Kilda, and Ross the boss had been into him for a while to get him over. Brad Hill was another person to get him to leave Freo, come over to St Kilda and play there. And Ross Lyon, of course, who took Fremantle to their only shot at a grand final in 2013, a couple of prelim finals. He had an amazingly successful run at the Dockers. At different stages, those guys were getting booed.
Yeah.
And I know they're opposition, but I just think it lacked a bit of class at times. And Liam Henry, I was really disappointed that he left because Freo gave him a lot to be able to kickstart his career. So I know he could be a little bit up and about, but it's a couple of seasons on.
I know.
So I don't think there's any reason to boo Liam Henry. He's got a lot of skill and he's a young fella.
And by the same token, like, you don't expect Jordan Clark to be booed at Geelong.
And
Do
he's
you know
not.
what I mean? No, exactly. That's right. So it goes both ways. In this modern day football, players leave and go to other clubs and they come to your club as well. So it all balances out.
Nelly, the worst part about this is last time that Liam played here and Ross Lyon, he hasn't coached against Fremantle here. No one said a word. So it just becomes a pack mentality if someone starts doing it. And if Harley Reid leaves, we're booing. Of course we are. Don't worry, he won't be able to get off the ground. His pockets will be that full with cash. He wouldn't know what to do. And I love to watch. And I talk about Ross all the time in a lot of things I do because he adds so much. Like, he's an intelligent human being. And one thing in his press conference yesterday, he was deflecting a lot of stuff, but there's always something you can grab off. And people are coming at him with why St Kilda aren't going too well this year, but they're building like the West Coast Eagles. He always stays in the moment. I think this is a good thing that all of us can take away from a quote from Ross the boss.
And I said it, but it doesn't get run because it's a bit logical. As Luke Ball said to me, and he's a very impressive young man, you look backwards, Ross, you're depressed. You look forward, you get anxious. Stay in the moment. I think that's what people who are successful or handle the heat of AFL footy do. They don't look backwards, they don't look too far forwards, and they just do the work. They don't get involved in the pantomime outside the four walls because it's a big pantomime, right? And the intensity of it's been elevated, and then other people are trying to live with it. So some people are losing their values with it, I think. But, time will tell.
That's why we stay in the moment.
He's one of the great philosophers, isn't he?
Good.
He really is.
He is.
You gotta love Ross the boss. He's a very funny man.
Shaun Sport in podcast form.
It's always great to have Seabass in the house, Australia's greatest ever netballer. And Seabass, we've been catching up a lot whilst the songs were playing. You and Joel were working together.
Yes, when I was a Casanova back in the day, Joel was already here, very well established.
Yes, I'm like a barnacle.
Yes, yes. So my fondest memories were, going to ECU and handing out condoms, which was amazing.
Yes, I know. Yeah, we're keeping the people
Joel
safe.
still does that, but it's a bit creepy now.
I do that after hours. That's a little after-hour pet project of mine that I'm feeling a bit of judgment from that. So call it, please.
Safety first.
You know what? It really was the best job when you were like in your late teens, early 20s here in Perth, wasn't it, Joel? Because we just drove around all summer. We got to take photos of hot people because that was our job, because they wanted the best looking people on the website.
Of course.
So we would just get told, go chat to hot people, get lots of photos with them.
And everybody was happy to see you.
Yes, and everyone loved us because we gave away free stuff. So
And then did you do the thing with me, Caitlin, where we had little naps on the beach in between crosses?
Yes,
yeah,
100%.
that was great.
So whenever we didn't know where to go for a cross, we would do. We'd just say, "Let's go to the beach." We gave away. Were you there when? So we gave away the Ruckus, a car one year as well.
That's
and
right.
all I did, I was like, every day was just a beach day, and we just hang out at the beach and have a little.
Oh, that's so nice, weren't they?
When we weren't getting Nat and Sean coffees, of course. They're so demanding.
Washing our cars.
Nothing's changed.
Washing your cars.
We did. We were slaves for them, basically.
We really were.
I didn't even know you worked for us. What are you talking about?
It's this giant 6'4" girl wandering around in a red Nova t-shirt.
Yeah. Flat white, Nat.
I would never drink a flat white. Wash your mouth.
Oh, no.
I'm
so
a
sorry.
long black
It's
all
just
the
a long
way.
black.
How dare you?
Now, Seabass, now we've got you here. Let's talk about the West Coast Fever. 10 in a row. Top of the ladder.
Top of the ladder for the first time this season. Really strong run home now because their last two games are home games.
Yes.
So they beat Lightning over in the Sunshine Coast on the weekend.
Your old mob.
15 goals. I know. It was a comprehensive win. Alice Teague-Neal once again.
She's
On the
been
wing.
terrific.
The
She
other
has
one,
been terrific.
Sunday Ariang. Holy
Yes.
moly. She played a whole game in goal defence. Sean's tips,
Oh, because
obviously.
Shaun told her how to play.
Oh, no.
Because she ignored Shaun's tips.
Sean
I don't know.
mansplained.
You say ignored. I had two weeks in a row, Joel. I was just giving her great defensive tips.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
she
really? I
said
tried to ignore your tip at all
that
times.
goes against the rules of the game with the first one. Yeah. This girl plays for Australia, but
Yes.
Shaun thinks he knows more than her.
What do you mean?
Sean
I play a contact game.
mansplained how
Yeah,
to
you kicked that ball
defend.
through the sticks, whatever that
Not
was
often,
called.
but yeah.
So that was good. And now they've got Giants this week at home on Sunday, and then the following week they've got the Vixens, and then
then
if
finals.
all goes well, yes,
Home
for
finals,
them.
yeah.
So happy days.
I feel like they need the loss. You got to have the loss before heading into the finals. Can you go undefeated?
Oh.
Pretty much when Janelle's jumped in the team, then you
Yes.
undefeated for the entire season. Is that
I think
realistic?
I think where they can afford to have a loss where they're positioned at the moment on the
Yes.
ladder, but I also think with Janelle back in their side, that it's probably not going to happen. Like if I look at Giants, she's going to be coming up against Casey Kapoor this
Yes,
week, which will
that's
be
true,
interesting.
yes.
And Giants have had a couple of wins with her in the side.
Casey Kapoor has been playing incredibly
Yes.
for someone. She's 40, 42,
Yes,
40.
yes. So, I mean, I think those first two losses that they had to start the season probably set them up well. And now if they can continue winning, they'll be pretty happy.
And they've been challenged by teams for sure. So, it's not like they're winning every game by 20 goals.
No. So, I mean, Swifts had a loss on the weekend. That's why they dropped out of the top spot, and probably a good time for them to have a loss once again. They need to bounce back if they're going to contend in finals. But I would love to see a Swifts and West Coast Fever grand final.
I would too, because I predicted it at the beginning of the season. And
Oh, you want to feel smart?
yeah,
yes.
that's right. I want to feel like I know what I'm talking about.
I think the good thing there would you be having two teams without a home ground advantage.
Yes.
Because the game's going to be played in Adelaide, Joel.
Does
Adelaide
that genuinely
netball.
make a difference? Home ground?
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Although I don't like having a home ground grand final because I think there's the stress surrounded with your family that want
Yeah.
tickets.
Yes.
Everyone wants something.
nightmare.
Extra noise,
You're
yeah.
not staying in a hotel together. It's kind of like going away and having an away grand final is great because you're just in your bubble.
Yeah, Caitlin, do you get that thing that my parents do to me? Like, we're having dinner before the show. Would you like to come and catch up and have something to eat? No, I'm about to work.
Exactly. They just don't get it, do they? Like, and there's like on the blower, like 2 minutes before the game, like, blah blah didn't get her tickets. Can you sort that out?
Yes,
I was like,
been
I'm
there.
warming up.
I'm getting my ankle strapped. Shut up.
It's so true.
want it.
Yeah.
On Saturday night here in WA, we got to see the British and Irish Lions kick off their tour of Australia, first time in 12 years, against the Western Force, your team, Caitlin.
Yes, it was.
How was that?
Well, once again, I was like a punter that. Because
Yes.
on game day, I don't really have a huge role to play. And because
so
it
you were
was
sloshed.
Yeah. So at Optus Stadium, normally we play at HBF Park, Joel, and we had an Optus game. And so I didn't have accreditation. I wasn't allowed down in the change rooms before the game and things like that.
rude.
So I was there as a fan, and it was incredible. The atmosphere.
So 46,000 people
Yes.
turned up, which is a great,
We caught the
great turnout.
train in,
Yeah.
like just the crowd of
See you
people.
blue?
So many red. So many people were wearing red, unfortunately.
Bandwagon jumpers.
Were they singing a lot through the game?
There wasn't as much, and we were talking about why the crowd wasn't probably getting up and about as much. And I think because so many of them live here, there's so many British, Irish, Welsh people
Yes.
that live here in WA, that in the past, the Lions team, the fans tour with them, Joel. And
Yes.
so they kind of go around
Oh.
Australia.
They're like the Barmy Army,
Like
but
the
Yeah,
Barmy
groupies.
Army.
Yeah.
So they sing and they get drunk and they're loud and about. But because they weren't touring, because they're already here, it was kind of a
Yeah,
little bit
sure.
quieter. But, I mean, the Force came out with a bang.
Scored early.
Yeah, Lions got a try like straight up, and I was like, "Ugh,
Yeah,
this
it's
is
gonna be a
gonna
long night.
But then we responded.
And after that, it was a long night.
It was a long night after that. But, nah, it was great. Afterwards, we got to have a little function with the boys because there was some retirees.
Yes.
So that was exciting to see Sam Carter finish off in front of his home crowd. And it was the biggest crowd those boys have ever played in front of.
Yeah, incredible.
Force.
Fantastic.
So
You
the
could
biggest
tell
home
that they
crowd.
were really enjoying that aspect of it.
So it
yeah.
was fun. It was fun. Nick only got into one fight, which was great.
So that's
as well.
Nick Champion de Crespigny,
Yes.
who
Oh,
we interviewed. I know.
wow.
I know,
Yeah, we had him
interviewed
in. You
last
see his
week.
eyes, Joel.
Yeah.
Sexy shiver up my spine.
I know, right? So, 5 years of French have finally paid off.
So Crep only got into one fight, which was great. But Dylan Peach, who's now gone away to play for the Wallabies, he had an incredible game as well. We have, I think, 5 of our boys from that team are now gone over to Wallabies camp. So
Yeah,
we'll see
brilliant.
what happens next.
Absolutely fantastic. 2 WA teams who played football. We're going to catch up with Jordan Clark a bit later on. Did you see the goal he kicked?
I did, and I was listening to your comms and how excited you were. Like, Supernova, we told him to do that.
I can't believe that he actually remembered to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like when in that moment, I would have forgotten. I would have forgotten for sure.
True.
I know that he would have felt the pressure because he knew. We'd been talking about it for weeks. If he was able to kick a goal, that
And
he
we're
would do
very
an
powerful,
oversign.
and he's scared of us. Is that what you're saying?
Nah, that was a great
terrifying.
game as well. That was, I mean, the two tools, the rucks. What do you think?
The Twin
Oh, they were
Towers.
fantastic. And
Yeah.
Shaun Darcy really upped the tempo in that
did.
last quarter. And Luke Jackson has had an amazing year of footy this year. And there was a lot of controversy earlier on talking about
Will he, won't he go? All that
he was
nonsense.
going to go.
Oh.
To have a game like, to have a season like he has is incredible.
Yeah, he was amazing. Shaun Darcy was fantastic. I think the goal that he kicked was really important in that last term.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great game. I'm excited. Flag mantle, yay!
Joel, flag mantle. What do you feel?
Yes, flag mantle. I am doing my best to keep up, and I'm trying to sort of convert this all into Real Housewives sort of terminology in my head, and I think I know what's going on.
The parallels are uncanny. Thank you
Yes,
so
get
much,
Lisa
Stephen.
Renner.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.